I feel like when I first started dating back in the 1900s, um, um, I feel like love wasn't something that people were embarrassed about.
Mm,
You know, even the music was different than movies.
mhm.
And I often look back like, damn, I wish this generation could experience like the kind of like, I don't know, I guess you guys would call it like, what's that called when you like kind of you go out bad for someone? I can't even think of the word. Kind of like being simping, sprung, all that, like all those good R&B songs where the brothers was singing and they was like grasping the air and they was in the
Okay.
ring
Whipped. That's what we call it. Whip appeal. You remember? Babyface? You got that whip appeal.
with the
That
white linen.
the 112.
Yes, but like that's what the vibe felt like back then. You know, like men would pursue you and it felt like you were being courted and it felt like you were special. It didn't feel like, you know, we didn't have all these 50-50 conversations or I'm the prize, you know? And it's just like, it felt like a good reason to get butterflies. Now, I just feel like with so much access, maybe I hate to sound cliche and blame social media,
Mhm.
but yeah, social media. I mean, humans are on the menu. You can just go find someone in any city you
Yes.
want, and I can reach out to a celebrity that I may have never encountered in real life. You can reach out to ever, so it makes the person in your face maybe be less special to you. I don't know what it is, but it's just like
Boom. We've said this so many times. Women have too many selections right now. They are suffering from an abundance of selections. They keep trying to, as Patrice O'Neal said, better deal the situation that they're in. So instead of looking across the table at the person you're currently dating, you've got so many people that have DM'd you or sent you a picture in your phone that you can't focus. That is a confirmation. And we did warn you about that. We said that that was going to be an issue, but you didn't want to listen. Nobody wanted to listen. Yeah, you ain't getting back to the 90s no time soon like that.
in the perfect storm of negativity, and I feel like I hate that love seems to be going by the wayside.
Mm.
You know, and I felt like more sparks back then. I'm just not inspired now.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm not.
Yeah.
I think men could say the same thing with how many women that are actually out here selling it. They're literally, like you said, your words, on the menu. Your competition out here is asking people for expensive dinners or just straight up asking for cash apps before they even get to know someone. So how are you going to fall in love and pursue a woman like that when it might not be you doing that, but the majority of women are out there with that mentality? They're being very materialistic and covetous and greedy right now. And you got to know that going into it.
Like more sparks back then. I'm just not inspired now.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm not.
Yes, because back then it was. I remember back then growing up, you used to. It's just
Bro.
it had. It was like it's totally different because like even with the videos, it was like the love video. You sitting on the couch, you talking to your boo, and all. Now it's like.
Well, now people will. I was just
strip
talking.
clubs and
That's yes. I was talking to my girl that was doing my hair, and we were talking about this. The song came on, Joe, I Want to Know, and I was the lead in that video, and that was 26 years ago. That was 1999, right?
Girl, you look 26 now.
I'm 52.
Oh, period.
Thank you. I don't let no one's dusty sun stress me out.
Period. This dude is a trip, man. Look like the fifth Migo, the fourth Migo. And Claudia has an interesting interaction with him too, because later on in the interview, she actually, I don't know if I'm going to get to it, but she actually gets inappropriately aggressive with this young gentleman here with the Ugg boots on. And it's very cringeworthy, but it just gives an idea of where a woman at 52 is, that she'd be willing to compromise with a gentleman of his persuasion, let's just say.
So, anyways, even the setup was the woman was, not to say women are more important than men. I don't think that. But in romance, I think it works the old-fashioned way when a man was courting the woman and pursuing her. And it just was a beautiful, I don't know, it was just beautiful. And the vibe was just different.
Yeah, back then it wasn't no $20. You give $20. Now you give them
Back then, it was like, I'll pay your, but with Babyface, I'll pay your rent, I'll fix your car, I'll buy your clothes, I'll do anything. As soon as I get home from work. Now,
And he was working.
and he was working.
Well, to be honest, Babyface said that even in the era I was alive, I believe men thought that was a bit extreme, what Babyface was trying to do. And that's why he was saying it. You know, Babyface his music was in that moment, in that time period, was about simping, you know. So simping, it didn't mean all men were doing that. It meant Babyface and his ilk were doing it. So going back to that time doesn't necessarily get you, I'll buy your clothes, I'll pay your rent, I'll cook your dinner too. Soon as I get home from work.
And he was working.
Fool.
Now you got a dude on your couch eating your food, playing video games, okay? What are we doing? Go to work.
Yes, okay, period. What do you wish someone had told you about dating like in your 40s and 50s back then?
You know, you think that when you're ready to settle down that there's always going to be a lot of supply on the shelves, and it's not.
Oh,
Like at this age, a lot of the good guys are married or taken because they're good guys. And I was having a conversation with a girlfriend of mine the other day, and I'm like, well, your best bet now is maybe someone that a good man that maybe is coming out of a marriage, getting a divorce. So, you know, I think in our youth, and I would like people to know this when they're younger, we think, oh, there's always going to be an endless supply. I can wait till tomorrow. Don't put off your happiness waiting. You know, if you find that good person, like a lot of times we wait, well, it's not the right time. It's never going to be like the right time. I would say go for it more.
there it is. That's a warning, ladies. That's a warning, ladies, from a woman. I'm glad she's doing this because it seems like a sign of growth and a sign of maturity that she's willing to put out here a message to you all that says what you're doing now is not working and is not going to work long term into the future. I don't care how much you complain about what men do, or you complain that men have a longer shelf life and are able to do this later in life. This is the reality. This is literally someone who used to be a model. She was in video. She was in the Joe video. You know what I'm saying? I want to know. You know what I'm saying? She was the object of desire for that time period. And she was able to become successful. She became a comedian, all these things. She had the career stuff on lock, ladies. And this is what you miss about this, is that the other side of that hustling to be a provider and to be as good as a man kind of leaves you in the lurch. And she's finding she has less options in what she really wants at this age. That is reality. And, you know, you might be 25 right now and you might not see that, but that time goes so quick. And I bet you if Claudia had to do it over again, she'd do things differently. You know, she actually mentions as much in this interview.
You know, if you find that good person, like a lot of times we wait, well, it's not the right time. It's never going to be like the right time. I would say go for it more. I wish I would have told someone told me just go for it. I probably have overlooked a good candidate before, you know, like maybe,
Why is that though?
me thinking the timing thing, maybe prioritizing career. You know, I definitely was always like work. I never thought I had enough cushion built up to like relax and take my foot off the gas and start a family.
And then that just go on and on and on, and then you be 100 years old and you like, it's still working.
Still working. And I think I will say specifically with Black women especially, I feel like we don't really have the luxury to think that we can kind of take time off like that. You know, and I specifically say Black women because like we're usually the backbone of everything. You know, not even just with our families, but with our.
But that's by choice. Make sure you realize that that's by choice. That is not something that was put upon you. Largely, the Black community is a matriarchy. So what are we talking about here? You have all the choice in the world. You do not have to be the alleged backbone. And sometimes I think this backbone thing actually is a myth. You still have, in good functioning families, you still have men that are still the backbones of their family. But you don't recognize them as that because that's your father or that's your uncle or that's your brother. But the fact that a lot of women go off and want to be single by themselves, that is a specific choice, or they want to isolate themselves from their family. That is a choice that is personal. And you can't talk optional things and make it into that you're the backbone of said community. Because if we had to be honest about it, having women as the backbone of the Black community in particular has kind of led us into a bad place. I'm going to be honest with you. And so maybe we need to reevaluate those roles and stop trying to be in control. Stop trying to resist. You know, you got Black men out here telling you now. And here's another thing. I don't think we get to this place without the Kevin Samuels, without the Corey Holcombs, without people like myself even online saying these things, so that now Claudia has this awakening. Because Claudia was critical of Kevin Samuels after his passing, you know. Let us never forget the infamous Cocktails with Queens with Vivica Fox and Lisa Ray and Selena Johnson. You know, that is her background. That's where she's coming from with this. And now she's evolved into this place. And I swear that we don't get here without men really saying what's going on.
Friend circles, like, it's always something for us to do. We're always taking care of somebody else. I don't have children, but I'm always like feeding a friend or taking care of someone or helping somebody out or doing a favor. And I think that's a cape that we put on ourselves. No one told us to do this. It's just something in us that we do. And if you think about the Black woman in your life, you probably think, damn, she's like a superwoman for everybody else. When does she slow down for herself? I think with Black women specifically, it's harder for us to ever feel like we can just kind of take a break. We have to be like all gas, no brakes. I don't think we have the luxury of feeling like, okay, I can take a breather now and relax. And I think it's really sad. You know, there's all these statistics about 45%, 65% of Black women will never get married, you know, and we're out here taking care of everybody else and not getting taken care of. And I think it's really sad. I think we self-impose this cape on ourselves to save the world. Look at all the marches. Look at all, I know this is dating, but I got to bring it into like the political space. We're always at the front lines for everybody else. For everybody.
Well,
Brother gets killed, we're in the front lines. The LGBTQ community, we're in the front lines. Other women that are not even showing that up as our allies, we're in the front lines. Gaza, front line. We're always there for everybody else. And on top of all the stuff in our personal lives, we out here trying to save the world. When does that leave time to like really feel comfortable? When does that really leave time to like relax or even just like put yourself first or dating? And I just feel like a lot of women get caught up in saving the world and then they leave little time for themselves.
But that's why I think it's best for, cause I had to tell my mother this the other day, like, she was just like stressing, oh, I'm worried about the kids. Like she got the grandkids and her kids and then some more. Like she's the one, they take all of the kids. Like it's like that's just like the thing.
Yeah.
So she just like, oh, I'm worried about the kids and stressing and things like that. I'm like, you gotta worry about yourself, because once, you know, when that time when something happened to you, was you just out the dry, because ain't nobody gonna care. They don't care about that.
And she probably feels like she can't ever take a break. Because who has her? Who has her, you know? And I really push for this. Like, I would love to see more examples of strong Black families where there is two people, whoever the two people are. But I think everybody needs a little support in their lives, a little backup. It's hard to do it all.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it? This is crazy. But we knew this would happen. We definitely knew this day would come where they would have to take an inventory of what's going on and start saying the things that people have been saying here online for a very, very long time. Shout out to you brothers out here for keeping the fight alive.
By yourself.
Yeah,
I've been doing it by myself, but I'm constantly exhausted. And I never took the time to like stop and smell the roses. Like I really don't. I'm always going. And it's cool for a little while, but it's not really a realistic pace. Like I think people look at me like, how could you even date? Would you even have time for someone? Or definitely a child. I never felt like I had time for that. Never.
Really?
Never. I know. I never felt comfortable. I never felt like I'm in a place where I'm supported, where this person is going to like be able to, you know, have my back. I always felt like I had to go get it myself. And maybe that's daddy issues. I think a lot of women
Yes.
that didn't really grow up with their dad think that, well, I don't have that. I got you.
Right.
It's no, I have to go get it.
So you think even now, you feel like even at the stage you're in now, like you don't have time for like a family or.
Now I'm 52, so I don't even know. I mean, I'm still fertile. I know I'm still fertile. I'm not out here getting pregnant before y'all start any rumors, okay?
Oh, really? Yo, what's up with these 50-something-year-old women that's talking about their fertility? I mean, I think that goes into the point that we talk about the value of fertility is minimized. I think they think because a young woman can do it, it must not be important until you get to a point where you cannot do it anymore and complications arise. I'm not doubting Claudia can do it because there's a lot of 50-year-old women out here that are having babies for some reason. They got a baby that's the same age as their grandchild, like I'm not ruling anything out, but I do sense a little bit of regret in Claudia. And I hate that for her. I hate that she feels that she wasn't able to do that in a timely fashion, to have a family, or to feel comfortable enough to have a family, that she didn't find that person that she could keep her guard down with. That's a shame.
But I like so much time has gone by without it. And I've always been on the fence about having kids. Like it was always, if I feel like I have the right partner, then I would go there and want to do it with someone.
Right.
But I never was the type of woman that's like, I just want to be a mom no matter what. I want it to be the right situation. I want to bring my child into a world.
But see, that's you trying to control. You can't control everything. You can't have everything. Can't just be so controlled.
It
That's
can,
right.
but I also don't want to be chaotic. I also don't want to like regret it. I don't want to like bring another kid in the world that says, where's my father? Or I just wanted to be a place where I wanted to be with someone that they were dying to be a father. And
well, I ain't heard too many of those.
Right, And
there's plenty of them. There's plenty of men that are dying to be a father. That is totally untrue. And I think Claudia, unfortunately, hasn't interacted with those type of people, or she saw them and for whatever reason disqualified them, and that's what I'm saying. I think there's a lot of absolutism. There's people that say all men are this, or men in my life, none of these men are good, but they're not even really getting to the point of counting the men that are good in this world because they haven't interacted with them. They look over them, they see them as something in between them getting from point A to point B. That guy that you saw at the club that tried to talk to you, and you became a professional rejecter all of a sudden. You became Dikembe Mutombo, and you rejected his shot. That was potentially one of those guys. And I think Claudia now at 52 years old can realize that better than she could at 32 years old or 22 years old. Or even at 42 years old, because you're getting many bites at the apple, but you gotta have your antennas up for somebody that's coming into your life that's going to provide you with those things. If that is in fact what you want, because it's going to take some cooperation. You can't be selfish. Being consumed with work is another form of being selfish. You're not allowing space for somebody to come in and be part of your life. Also being materialistic, also knocking people out because of their jobs, or the people that are in happy relationships that I know have maybe been surprised about the person that they actually ended up with because that wasn't their type. A lot of women that stick to things like type and physical attributes and things that are very superficial, they miss out on the opportunity to have a long-lasting love. But I wish Claudia Jordan the best. Like, this is the thing. People don't realize. They think if you talk about these topics, somehow you're bashing. I don't have any ill will or animosity towards Claudia Jordan. In fact, I was a fan of Claudia Jordan back when she was on the Foxhole. Like, she's actually funny. She's actually talented. And, I think we get so much acrimony back and forth about men speaking online because we've never spoken like that. Now we want to revert. Now we want to be like, my grandfather would have never had a podcast. Well, you don't know that because we're giving you an insight into what men are thinking and have thought for generations. Men have these conversations. They just might not have ever been online. They were in the barbershop. They were in the backyard while we were doing something, cooking out, playing basketball, whatever, like, and so that's what I'm saying. I think the lesson here is that when you get a Kevin Samuels or you get a Corey Holcomb or you get many other people, I'm not going to shout everybody out, but because some people out here giving some bad information, obviously. But when you get people like that, they come about, take a second, get out of your feelings and listen to what they're trying to say to you. Because the fact that they're even saying anything shows that they care. It's not just bull in the china shop. Even though it may seem like that, but there was something here. Anyway, that was good. Go check out the rest of the video on the Shade Room. And if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification for all uploads. Make sure you sign up for the Patreon, patreon.com/Faucette Media. This is Faucette Media.